So now we have a method that we can call it to get all the basket items by basket ID. But we need an update method to update the database and also the cache at the same time. So for updating that one in the database, I need to have the item in the database. But for the update, I need to have the unit of work. So it's better in general to have just the unit of work here as well. Because in the unit of work I have my repository, so I remove that repository as well and use just the unit of work as my repository as well. So here I can just say so I get the cache and I can set a key and the ID of the basket item and the item itself, but I have to serialize that one as well. So I set the cache, the new value for the old sub key, the sub key. If it's not there, it will set. If it's there, it will override that one. So I update my cache first, and then I update the DB. And that's it. But you know that DB context has a method called save changes async, and also hashset has an async. And these two operation doesn't relate it so much together, so we can run them almost parallel with each other. I'm not here going to speak about the fail scenario. You have to think about yourself with the situation of the item that you are putting in the cache. What is the sensibility of the option item? How you are going to update the item. First you are going to update in the cache or in the DB. It depends on your strategy, on the nature of the item that you are putting in the cache. But here I see an improvement, so I have to convert that one to an async, because both of them are expensive operation. Both lines are expensive, so if I run it, if I don't wait for the result of each line and run both of them almost at the same time, I will save lots of time. So this is, if that one is running in async, I can call that one set cache task, and then this one it seems that I didn't implement this method. This should be task, and I have to implement it here. So let me call the save changes async. Yeah, it should be async task. And I think await, I need to, yeah. And then let's change the syntax of this one as well. Yes. Okay, much better. So I have the save changes async as well. So I use that one. And then, as I said before, we can wait for both of those tasks. So we have here a method called update. Everywhere in the system, if we want to update a basket item, we have to call this method. So in this method, we change the cache and we change the database at the same time. So we keep the cache always up to date. And I think there is another method that we need in this class, which is the add method, which adds one basket item to the basket, which is more in use than the update. So let's implement that one, because we need the ID of the basket item that has been added. So this one returns an integer that accepts one basket item. Because this is at the basket cache repository level, we have to do all the validation and the rest of the stuff at the caller level. I mean the basket service or basket item service. When they call the add, they have to validate the basket item, they have to create the basket item, they have to assign the basket item to a basket, and then they have to pass that basket item to this method. So here I'm not doing any validation or any other things. So I will call the save changes, and then I need to update the cache as well, or I need to put it in the cache. So I need hash key. I get the cache again. And I can set the cache. Now I have the basket item ID. I didn't put the basket item first into the cache because I don't have the basket ID. But now when I call the unit to work save changes, I have the basket ID. So I will first, in the add, I will first update the DB and then put that item in the cache. It's better to use the async method as well. So, but here I cannot call both of them at the same time or kind of parallel, because the result of this one is affecting this one, because after this task has been finished, I have the ID. Let's put the await keyword here. So I will make the .NET executor wait here after the job has been finished. So because that one is the async and task. And then I will wait here as well. Now I can return. Now I realize that we are calling this method all the time in all our cache repositories, or this one. So it's better to have a base class for the all the cache repositories and put these kind of things there. I think we have also unit of work in both basket item cache repository and basket cache repository. Let's check. So we didn't implement any update, so we don't have the unit of work. So if we are going to here to implement the update, we will have that one as well here. So my suggestion is to make a basket cache repository base class to add these common things inside that one. It's going to be an abstract class because we are not using that class by itself. So I need a protected member of unit of work because my inherited class are going to use that one, so I will not make it private. I will make it protect. And the cache I need also have the cache, so I make another protected class as well. Here my database. So I have here a protected member, so I can access this protected member from all the inherited classes. So I don't need to call this line every time. So let's go to basket item cache repository and make it inherit from the class that we have made, cache repository base. Okay, I can remove this. And then I have to call the base. Yeah, that was effective. We have cleaner and more organized code. Actually, we have to improve that base class over the time when we are implementing. As you will see when we are finishing the project, this class has been grown more than just a couple of protected member, and that is a good approach, that you can minimize the code that you're writing in your project as much as you can. You have to have clearer and a code that is better to understand. So now I need to inherit my basket cache repository from this class as well. So we go here, I do this, and I have to change this one. Okay, I don't need this repository because I have the unit of works, and I'm going to access the repository inside the unit of work. So I need to inject the unit of work and pass it through the base and access the basket repository from the unit of work. Oh, I have changed that one to task, so we need to have here async and task. And I don't need these kind of Now it's time for product cache repository to be implemented. So as you remember, we just left it like this, and now it's time to implement this method to use the cache. First I'm going to read the product from the hash. Again, here for the product, I also use the hash table, because we can have one product hash key, and we can relate it all our products to that one. Before we continue that one, I wanted to explain something, that you have to customize your strategy regarding to the nature of the items that you are putting in a cache. For example, if I know that I have 50 products in my whole system, and these products are going to increase by 10 at the end of the year or after a couple of years, then I don't hesitate to put all of them in one hash table, so I can manage them much better and much easier, because all of them are in one hash key, so I can update and delete and add to them all the time. So and then I have to, as you remember, we have to inherit this one from the cache repository base. Oh, now I see the problem. I forgot to use the E at the end of that one, so I rename this one, and then here I have that one. So because I have unit of work, I don't need this one. So I have the access to cache now. So here I need a hash key for the product. So here we wanted to get some of the keys, some of the sub key of a hash table, not all of them. So, and here again, Redis is helping us, because the hash get async has two interface, actually has two syntax. One of them is accepting the hash key and the collection of the keys, and then brings us back an array of the values related to those keys that we provided. So for this purpose, I need to pass the keys, but the keys are here Redis values, so I have to create them. If I give it the product ID, it will not work, because it needs Redis value for that. So I can convert the product IDs to that one. I say ID string, because it needs a string. ID strings. I can easily cast that string to Redis value. Now we have two conditions. That the first one is that the items are in the cache, so we deserialize them and return them. The second one is that the item are not in the cache, and we have to read it from the database and then cache them and then return them. So we say if or I can say if they are not in the cache. Let's do this. So I have to set them into the cache, I have to say set for setting couple of items into the cache. The hash set has also another syntax, so you can provide one hash key and then an array of sub keys and the array of the values. So for this one I need to create some entries. So the name is the subkey and the value is the value. So the name, I would say it's gotta be product ID. So it's gonna be item.id.toString, and the value is deserialized. So I need to keep these hash, so I need a list of the hash entry, or I think I need an array, not a list. So okay, so it's better to use the for, not the for each, for all purpose. So we say for so I can set it like that. So after this for each, I have all my hash entries. So I can say, and what is the product is this one. And now that I have to use this one again, I can make it as a property for this class. And this one, because it's constant, it's better to rename it to start with the uppercase product hash, and then I have to change these as well. Yeah. So the hash set entry, the hash set async is accepting one hash key and hash entries. Hash entries has product IDs and the serialized product. Product IDs are the sub keys and the value of them are the serialized product. So I can set all of them in one line. But this one, this for each, I have a little bit problem with that one, because for our scenario, this is okay, this code will work because maximum in a basket item we have 10 or 15 products, so I don't think we will have some problem. But we have to write a code that is also good for very high number of the products or high number of the items that we are going to put in the cache. This JSON serialized object is a little bit time consuming. I prefer to run these two lines of code in a parallel mode, because first of all, each loop, each iteration has not effect on the other. So if this is a situation in our iteration, we can run it in a parallel mode. So, and if we run it in parallel mode, we have much faster code. For this purpose, I can use the parallel.for. Yeah. But I have to change the syntax of the for because it's different. So we say it starts from 0 to the count of the products. remove this. We would say that one, and then we close this one. But here we don't have I, we have the X one, because it can be any number at any moment. So we choose X, and then here X. So in this way, all of them will run parallel in a parallel mode, and is much faster. So consider if, I don't know how long would that JSON convert take, if even it takes 5 milliseconds. And if we have 20 product, it's going to be 100 milliseconds. So it's a lot. We have to convert it to like that. This one takes, if one line takes 5 milliseconds, the parallel one maybe takes 5, 6, 7, no more than that. And then here we set it like this. So we have that one, and so if it's that one async, I have to use the await and also convert that to a task. Okay, if it's in the cache, if our product was in the cache, I need to deserialize that one. So let's say again, because this is deserializing, it's also time consuming, so I need to run it, implement it as a parallel. So first I need a list of my product. Okay, that seems alright. And after this parallel 4, we will have a product that has all the deserialized product inside it. But this is not right. This is wrong. I made it by purpose like that to mention one important thing, that I do mistake all the time, so I don't want you to repeat my mistake. That the list is not thread safe. So you cannot use the add method inside the parallel 4. After you run that one, by chance some of your item will not set. Maybe your application will throw exception, or any other things can happen. So you need to use the array and then manage to add to fill the array inside the parallel yourself. So I will convert that one to array. Now here I have the array, so I can convert it to list and return it. So here we have now a method that brings all the products by a list of the ID. Okay, let's build the application to see if we have any error or any problem. Yeah, this one. Oh yeah, because we converted to a task. Okay, we use that get all product by ID inside the basket. I think basket item, basket cache repository, yeah, here, because we wanted a bunch of product by IDs. But our first purpose is to implement the whole of this method into the new system. So now we have get current basket in the basket cache repository, and also we have the product cache repository. So we have to implement the get all active product inside the product cache repository as well. So let's go to product cache repository to implement the get all active product. So here we have a small issue because we are going to use the product hash key for all the product, this one, and at the same time this product hash key is used inside this method, which is fetching just bunch of the products with a list of ID. Consider just that this method is run first, and I send 5 product ID inside that one, and the hash key will be filled with that 5 product ID, and then when I read back the hash table in the get all active product, then we will get back just that 5 products, not all the products. So we have a problem here. Either I have to use another hash key for the get all active product to keep a different list in the cache, or the first one, the keeping separate lists in the cache is not a good solution, because we will have repetitive data in the cache and we want to have just one single list in the cache. The best is to cache all the products, and when in this method the items come empty, null, we get back all the products, and then we set in the cache all the products, because anyway in the get all active product we have to cache all the products, so we do that one there as well. So let me first implement the get all active product, and then we will update the other one. So I need to read all the hash table from with the hash key. That hash get all async will return all the keys and values inside one hash table. So if it's not in the database, not in the cache, let me change these. So if it's not in the cache, we need to cache it. So here I need to set this product in the cache. I have implemented that one here. If it's in the cache, I need to deserialize, which I have implemented earlier. So now I need to re-implement this method based on what we have said about the get all active product. So here I just need to get all the products by calling to all active product, and then here I have all the product, so I can select them. And here I have the product, or the list of the product that I wanted. And I don't need all of them. So now it's time to use the product cache and basket item cache repository inside the basket service. So here we need to have access to those, so I will create Oh, I don't have the interface, so I need to extract the interface. As I said before, we have to move these into separate file, but for now I will leave it here. And you have to do that one, because many times I thought that developers are saying, okay, I will move it later, but they never move it. So we will move it at the end of this section. So then we need to have async here as well, because so as you see, these two has not any effect on each other, so we can run them parallel. So we say basket task and product task. Okay, so far we re-implemented these lines into the new system, and we have to go to here to find out what's the code here. So if I go there, okay, this is fetch or create the basket. Means that it goes to the database to see if there is any basket for this user, and if it's there, it will return that one. If it's not, it will create a new basket for that, save it into the database, and return the basket. So apparently this is a change on our basket entity, and we want our basket cache repository to do that one. We have to implement this one on our basket cache repository. So I am going here, and I have to add this one to my interface and implement that one. For keeping the basket in the cache, we used a key and value. We don't use the hash table, so I have to regenerate the key here, and because I don't want to copy paste, so I will create a private method to create that one for me. It means that I don't have any basket in the cache, so I have to check that I have it in the database or not, because it's possible that I don't have it in the database as well. Consider it's the first time a user hit our website for the first time, so we don't have any basket for him. We need to create a basket actually. If even that one is null, then I need to create a basket. and then I need to set that basket in the cache. So maybe I have to convert that one later into a public method, because maybe we need it in other places. What if the basket is in the database? Because if it's there, I need to set the basket again in the cache. So I move these two lines out of the if block. So and if the basket is fetched from the cache, I need to deserialize it. So now I can use this one in the basket service. Here, fetch or create, I can remove all of them and then just call the fetch or create of the basket item, of the basket cache repository. So we implement the whole method inside the new system. I have to continue to implementing the rest of the method as well. So, but now we have one method, which is the main one, and creating us the shopping view model, which is used in the first page, the main page of the application. So this was the hardest, the most difficult one, and the rest will be much easier. So I will continue to implement the rest of the methods, updates, and all this stuff into the new system. You can skip this part and go to the load testing again to see the results, or you can follow how I implement the rest as well. So if I wanted to rewrite that method in the new system, first I have to fetch the basket, which is here, is using my new system, yes, and then I need the basket items because I am going to add one product to basket, so I have to know that my basket already contains that item, contains that product or not. So for this purpose I need to not to go to the database, but I'm going to use the basket item cache repository. So basket items, so I need a access to basket item cache repository. So here we check that if the product is already in the basket or not. If it's already in the basket, we just need to increase the quantity. So if it's not in the basket, we need to create a basket item. So I create a basket item like that. Is it already there? And then here it calls the basket item repository, but we are not going to do that one because our basket item cache repository is responsible for that. I remember that we implemented the add. Let's go to the cache repository to see item cache repository. Why we cannot see the, oh yeah, because we didn't update the interface. In the old method, because we had the basket item from the database directly and we changed the value or property of that object, and then when we call the unit of work save changes, it would update the database. But here we don't have that. These are coming from the cache, and we need to have we need to call the update method inside the basket item cache repository to update the data. So after this one, I have to call basket, and let's see that we implemented the update or not. Yes, we implemented and we didn't update the interfaces, so I'm updating that one. So let's continue to implement other method in this class. So we have a create basket view model. What is this one? This one is a view model that is needed when the basket, this view, needs to update itself. So if I add another of the product, you can see the quantity is increasing, the prices calculated. Actually, it's refresh itself with an AJAX call, and with that, the return of that AJAX call will be a view model, a basket view model. And here, this is the method that our service is creating the basket view model, and this one is calling the fetch and update, fetch or create basket, like this one, and it creates that. So I need to worried about this one, because in the past, when there was no micro caching system, the fetch or update, the fetch or create basket would return the basket without basket item inside it. But here in the create basket view model, I need basket item as well. So I'm going to change that one. In the basket cache repository, I have a get current basket. This one brings us back the basket with the basket item inside it. We should consider if this is the first time that this method is calling the get current basket, this one needs to return null. Let me go inside to see. Okay, we didn't implement that one. So here I need to say if basket is null, then return null. And then here I can say if current basket I'm not going to change this method because I didn't use it in the UI, so I will leave it as it is. We are not using that in our test as well, so even if we remove that one, it's gonna be fine. Now is the turn of clear basket. We have to implement the clear basket inside the basket cache repository. So clear the basket is first I need to have access to the database, so I don't need to read it from the cache. I need just to get it the basket in the database. So I read that one. If the basket is null by any chance or anything, if the basket in the database is null, so we have to remove the keys of that basket in the cache if it's there. Then when I remove, I need just to return. If it's in the database, we are changing the state to delete and then remove the key again and then save changes. So we keep our basket in the cache sync with our database like this. As you may remember, I told you that we have to have one point of change and one point of read. This basket cache repository is the point of change and the point of read. So when we change anything like clear basket, we change the cache. When we want to read, we also read from this class, and we can keep the consistency between update, delete, add, and insert, and the whole cache. So I think the basket service has been done because we are not using the rest of the methods. No, these are just implemented, but I never used them. Okay, let's see why this one has problem. Yeah, because we changed the methods and we convert them to now it's time to go for other services to see what we have to implement in microcaching. But so far this was a good example of how you have to implement your service with microcaching, and this was the most complicated one. The rest of the services are much easier than this one. Before we continue to implement other services into microcaching, let me build the project to see if there was any error, so we can remove them and continue. Yes. Yeah, this one is a async task. Yeah, it's built successfully. So the next one is checkout service, which reads the available address, payment, and shipping methods. I implemented very basic. For example, if you can fetch the payment method based on the country of the user, or you can fetch the shipment method based on the destination country and make it more complicated. But I implemented the very basic one. This is getting the view model ID of the checkout page, and this method is placing an order. So for this one, obviously I need address cache repository, payment cache repository, and shipment cache repository. So I will implement the three of them at the same time. So let's do these by address cache repository. Okay, I will create the class. First interface. Let me copy that one. The base cache repository. Like always, I need a key for reading the hash. It's gonna be address and username, user ID, I mean. And then I need to read the hash. Yeah, it's a task. So let's change that one. So if it's not in the database, it's not in the cache, I have to read it from the database. And then set it in the database. Set it in the cache. So we create a method here. I need to have the hash key again. Okay. And then I need an array of hash entry, because I want to do it in one line, set all of them in one line, and again a parallel for, and then create a new hash entry. The ID is the name, and the value is the serialized address. But you can see that I think we did that one in the basket item cache repository, something the same. Let's check that one. If it's the same, then we can put it in the base class. Basket item cache repository. Yes, actually this line, we try to set items in the cache by single, but we can do it as one line, like here, that we did. Still we didn't, but we are going to do. So we can put in a base class. Let's go to the base class. And let me see the product. Maybe we have something there as well. So, set item in the cache. Yes, in the product we have as well. So, we have to put it in the cache repository base. But we have to be careful, because this base class is used also by basket cache repository as well. And this one is not using any hash. It's just using the string set and string get. So I need to have another base class which is inherited from this one, and those cache repository classes that using the hash table can inherit it from this one, from the new one. So I will say public abstract can bring one of those. I can bring this one to there and change it. First it has to be protected, because we are going to set many different lists into the cache. This is a good example that we can use generics in C#. and I can say where T is class. And let me just to tweak a little bit the naming of these items. I will name it item. Yeah. You can see that we have a small issue here, that if we say that T is a class or generic is a class, and a class doesn't have an ID member, but we can create an interface in our domain, and we can call it iEntity for hash or iEntity with ID. And then we can say this is a property of ID get, and then we can inherit our domains like basket item from that entity or addresses. Yeah, or address. And now here in the cache repository base, we can say this is iEntity with ID. So why we don't have reference to domain? I have to create a reference to the domain. But we have it. Let's go back to see why it's not accessible. Because this one is not public. And now you can see the ID is recognizable here, and we don't have any problem with that. And this one, items. We need a key for that. Yes, we need to pass or inherit my basket item cache repository from this one. Basket item cache repository, not from this, but this. And then here I can say set item in the cache, and what's the item is basket item so, and also we need to change the product cache as well, product cache repository, so it inherits from this one, and then we don't need that one. So here we say set item in the cache. Okay, it tells me that product is not implemented the iEntity with ID, but now it's implemented. So yeah, now we have clearer code, which is more understandable, which is smaller, which is open to extend, and a higher level of standard code. So here we can say set okay. What is the checkout service? Let's go to check the I think this one is not correct. Checkout service. Oh, okay, yeah. We are going to bring back the list of the address. And then here I can return. Better call it addresses. And if it was in the cache, so we have to deserialize it. So we don't need this one. But in many places I think we did the deserialize again. So maybe we can extract that one to the base class. Let's check the basket item. So we have here, and we deserialize all of them. Here we have, where else? Let's check the product. Yeah, we have in the product as well. So again, we can put it. Yeah, we get the Redis value where we are using that one. Yes, we get the all hash, and then we deserialize all of them. So we can put that one in the base as well. So, but let's put this one in a separate class. I think again we need to implement this one based on the generic. So it's gonna be a generic type where. Are we using the ID? No, we are not using the ID, so it can be just class. And items. Okay, new. Based on that one. And this one is using our class. So we have a generic deserialize method that we can use everywhere. But let me rename it to deserialize Redis values, which is more explanatory name. Okay, so I remove this one. Okay, let's go to address. And return. Perfect. Let's check the basket item cache repository as well. Maybe we can find something there to improve. Much shorter, more concise code. That is what a good developer will do. Yeah, you see? As you can see, everyone can read this block of code. Let's generate a hash key, get all the hash from the cache, and then if it was there, deserialize and return it. If it's not there, then read it from the DB and set it in cache and return it. This is a good approach of coding. I like it. Okay, let me remove these extra things. Okay, let's implement the rest as well. I was thinking about how we can generalize this create hash key. because all the time we are implementing that one. Maybe we can do something. I'm thinking to put it in the base. Okay, let's do it to see how it goes. So here I can go to product cache repository and I can. So here we don't use anything regarding that one because it's just one hash key. Okay. And create key. No, generate key. So I will try to find all the generate key in all my classes and change them to use the base one. So don't worry what I'm doing right now. You can find it in your project and change all of them yourself as well. So in the basket hash repository, yeah, we need to add that private property. We remove that one, the domestic one, and change all the generate keys. I think we're good now. Yeah, that's nice. And yeah, basket, we need to do that one as well. So it's address. And this was not, I think that the name is very bad. Let's go to checkout service to see what's the name. Okay, let's implement another one, which is payment method get all. So for the payment method, we need to create a new file. So you can see that I implemented this one much faster because I had the set items in cache already, and also I had the deserialized Redis values. So you can see as we progress, the base class become rich and richer, and we have lots of tools in our application to use, to reuse and use again. So, and I'm not going to implement the update, add, or anything else because you know already what to do, so I don't want to make this video longer. I just will continue to implement the other classes so I can start the load test, and to compare the results. So let's go back to the let me first update the interface, and let's go back to the checkout service to use the we didn't use any of them, so let's implement this one as well, and then we come back to here to start using all of the methods, all of the new services, all of the cache repositories here in this method. So the next one will be shipment. So here again we need a private property for the hash key, so let's create that one. So now I go back to the checkout service to use these new services. Now I can change them. So you can see here again, these tasks are not overlapping each other. It means that the result of the first one doesn't relate it to the next one, or the other one doesn't relate it to any other one. So we have separate and independent tasks, so we can run all of them almost parallel with so I have to have my task here. Let's call it address task, and then this one. Okay, now we can use the result of them without await. This method is placing the order. It creates an order and then change the basket state to complete. But I know that I have to make this change in my basket cache repository, not here. So I need a method in my basket service called basket complete, and then in there I have to call the complete of the basket cache repository. So let me first go to basket service and make a method. Because I'm going to change the basket from the database as well, so it's better to start using the unit of work. And then basket repository. Get current basket ID. If basket is null for any reason, we have to remove the key, at least if we don't take any action. So but if basket is there, which is probably the case for us, okay, that's it. And in checkout service, here we are not changing the basket. So now we need to call basket service. Let me build. Okay, successfully built. Now I wanted to go to my services and move the interface of what I have done to another file. So you can skip this part, or you can follow what I'm doing, and you can also separate your interfaces to separate files. So I think we moved all our interfaces, and now it's time for me to register these interfaces inside my AutoFac module. Oh, we copied exactly same number. It's the developer unconsciousness. Because we moved these interfaces, so we need to add the using of for them. So it's built. So let's run the application to see what kind of error do we have. What item passed into dictionary is of type. Oh, yeah, we changed the interface of some methods, but it didn't change the controller. So we need to go to home controller. This error is usually related to different version of the NuGet package that has been installed on your project on different on your different projects. So the best way to solve this is to right click on the solution and then go to manage NuGet package for the whole solution, and then you can search for this one, and yeah, you see we installed here the latest version, and then we had here the old ones. So it's better to install all of them with the 11. I hoped that it will not throw any exception, but actually it is throwing exception because I didn't update this one. So let me okay, after that issue we have this one. This is happening when JSON convert want to serialize an object which has a self-referencing inside. It means a loop referencing. So I figured out that this is in my basket. In the product I have a basket item, so I have to remove that one because I never used it when I was setting my mapping, and when I was creating my domains. I put it there, but I never used it, so I can remove it safely. Yeah, this is the mapping I have made. Okay, this is a good sign, but still we need to check our application that is working or not properly. Okay, checkout view model in, I think in checkout controller. Checkout controller. Get view model. Yes. Okay, index and basket. So let me see. Index and the basket. Where do we have? Maybe basket controller. Basket controller index. This one, yes. Oh, I think I know what is happening, because that one is a partial view in my, it's in my page, in my checkout page, and in partial you cannot use the async. So I have to change the syntax of my, here I have to leave it as normal, not asynchronous, and then I have to run this one as a task. So task dot run, and I can say here run this one and the result. Okay, my checkout page, yeah, my basket, the prices, quantity, and address, shipping, and method. So let's place order. So the order has been cancelled. I think your basket is empty, cannot place order of an empty basket. I think I did a small mistake. Let me go to home page to see. Yeah, my basket has not been emptied, so it means the completion of the basket has problem. So let me try something else. I think this is something that I have to investigate about. Okay, let me investigate and come back. Okay, I found the problem. The problem is that in the old system, without the microcaching, this fetch or create basket would return a basket with basket items. So I forgot that I have to change that one to something that is bringing us back the basket with basket item. So I think the create basket view model will do that for us, but this one is an async task, so I need to wait for that and then change this. So and this one is bringing back a basket view model, so it's a model, and then inside the model I have the basket. Yes, I think this will solve the problem. Okay, let's add some item into the basket. Yeah, it's adding our items. This one, yes. This, the hammer. Now let's go to checkout. Okay, and place order. Yeah, your order has been placed successfully, and if I go to home page, my basket is empty, so I can start for from the beginning, and the admin basket. So this page is also working, but we forgot to put this page into micro caching. So the next step will be putting this page into the cache, and then we go to the visual load test to compare the results of the system with cache and without cache. For that page, I have a controller, admin basket controller, which is calling the admin basket service, which is a separate service, this one. But I wanted to explain something before we start to implementation of this one into the cache. The best solution is always the combination of different strategies. For example, this page, the admin basket, where you can see the report, the nature of this page is something that we don't need to cache it at micro level. Means that because what is the application of this page? The application is that the admin can come to this page to get a report of the latest state of the baskets and basket items, how many baskets are deleted, how many basket has been created from, for example, for last 10 minutes or something like that. So there is no cruciality to refresh this page at real time. So we skip that one and we put it in the cache based on the time. So we can refresh this page every 10 minutes, every 20 minutes, or every hour. Let's put this page, these queries into the cache for at least 10 minutes, and we will have more effective cache. Let me go back. So we need a basket cache repository. Because we are going to keep it in a separate list and not using the micro caching, so I need another key for that one. And what is this filter? This filter is the basket state, which is open, deleted, or completed. Here we can set the time span for the cache. I think it's the next one. Yeah, this one. Okay, I think this will work. think now it's time to go to Visual Studio load testing to see the final result.